what to write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That was great sounds of Watson with Outside on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and pretty much just the regular crew at this is if you're just getting to this program right now, we have a little bi-weekly topic we like to grant. We call this Three Nerds Venting. We like to get our gospel out there and tell us what grinds our gears or what doesn't grind our gears and stuff that we love just about the industry and pop culture. The professor is with us again. He's going to be with us forever and eternity with this topic of discussion of nerdom. And we're really excited about this. I really suck at introductions. I would give this to Easy, but I think we just should just go with the flow, as we say. First topic that we're going to talk about. The little big old news just came in on Nerd Society. We got our RDJ as one of the greatest villains of all time, of Dr. Doom. I'm a little bit on the fence about this. 50% of me is completely excited about this because the man has range. He's a great actor. If you can't, he's definitely one of the greatest that ever we have seen. I can't really break it down really thoroughly, but another part of me wishes they would have gave it to someone new because RDJ is already the face and he has really nothing to prove to anybody. But I want to give this firstly Terrence. Let's get your point of view, and then after this we're gonna get Easy's point of view about this, and we'll all really talk about this whole discussion. But from my take, 50-50 on it. I feel he's gonna knock it out the park, and other one I feel is just it could have been given to somebody else who would have knocked out the park as well. So Terrence, I'd like to see your point of view on this one.
So I was never on the fence about it. And
Okay.
I'm going to tell you why. So when I saw that, it immediately made me think of, there was like this, in the comics, this what if thing happening. And there was a what if thing that happened back in the comic books and it was really cool, where Dr. Doom actually becomes Iron Man. So what happened was, it's a weird story. And again, I'm basing me not being on the fence on if Marvel does this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because I know their What If series was really, really great on Disney Plus. So I'm saying if they take it in this direction, especially with the multiverse stuff happening, this would be a good move. And this is a great way to get Iron Man back into the MCU. So just really quickly on how the story went without taking up too much time.
Of course.
So
go ahead.
In the What If story, Reed Richards was supposed to be the classmate of Dr. Doom at university. That wasn't the case this time. It was actually Tony Stark. So them being like the two brains that they were in a little bit of a rivalry, but Stark was not taking it seriously. Right. So Dr. Doom tricked him into like going into this like basement lab where he was like doing some stuff down there. So he said, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this experiment where I'm creating telekinesis for humans and whatever," and he tricked Stark, right? So that wasn't the case at all. What he did was he did a body swap with him, erased his memories of him being Tony Stark, and he assumed the mantle of Tony Stark, and he started doing like some real messed up stuff, and he created Stark International, and he in essence became Iron Man. And Victor Von Doom, who's actually Tony Stark, went back to Latveria, and he made Latveria this really technologically advanced place, and trying to help the world. It was like a really, really good thing. And he had created the arc reactor. So Doom rolled up on him trying to take the arc reactor, and when he ran into him, one of the coolest scenes was Dr. Doom was in an Iron Man suit, but it was like red. I mean, it was green and like a yellow.
Green and yellow, that's cool.
Gray.
That's cool.
Green and the gray, like the regular.
All green and gray. Yeah.
And Dr. Doom, Tony Stark, was in a Doctor Doom outfit, but it was yellow and red, like his Iron Man suit. And the battle ensued, and eventually Tony Stark got the upper hand. The real Tony Stark got the upper hand. He got his memories back, and it is what it is. But it was a magnificent story. Now, if they do something like this, it would make total sense, because it all ends in Rabumalal and the Battle World and Secret Wars. So that's where I am with it. I'm hoping that they look at the source material and do it right, because they can make it happen.
Oh, I believe it 100%. 100%. I believe they can make it happen. I think we win just as comic book fans. I don't know if the average viewer wins. That's my thing, because they're gonna get confused with RDJ on there, because he has that face that you're always gonna recognize no matter what role he's in, even though he's a really good actor. If the average viewer is gonna get way confused when they put this movie on, like, oh, I thought he died like 5 years ago. Like, comic book fans, because we know this culture and we know these stories and we're so enriched in them, like, we win 100%.
Right. And again, I think my concern is the MCU has this thing that I don't like, that I hope that they don't do. Dr. Doom wears a mask because his face was disfigured during an accident, right? RDJ wants to show his face all the time. He's always taking off the Iron Man mask. So that's why I'm saying it's leading me to believe that they're gonna do it with the kind of like multiversal, like he's a variant type of, right? I think that that's the direction that they're going to end up in, because I really can't see them with Doctor Doom, because that's honestly going to taint the whole purpose of the mask and him being so secretive about his stuff in Latveria. That's going to taint it. So that's why I'm believing that they're heading in the direction of what I was thinking. And if they do that, it'll be a master stroke, and it'll tie in the whole multiverse thing, and everything will work out. And at the very end of it, if they do it right, they get Iron Man back, the real Iron Man.
Right.
But they're going to have to figure out the Doctor Doom thing, because I honestly think Mad Mikkelsen would have been a perfect Doctor Doom, but whatever. Anyway.
Easy, your take.
There's a couple different avenues here, and I love to play devil's advocate when it comes down to stuff like that. One, he was not announced as Doctor Doom. People are not forgetting, we forget. He was announced as Victor Von Doom. Robert Downey Jr. is playing Victor Von Doom. So there's a whole nother aspect of there where, yes, it could lean a little bit more towards the storyline that the professor is talking about, and I hope it does. The other thing is, it's the mask. The mask is so super important, and he's going, I don't care who the actor is under the mask. The last actor to really impress me under a mask was Pedro Pascal. So go out there and see what you can do. But I also hope they play it more towards the fact, and it's funny because they did it similarly with Kane in WWE, where he wore the mask because he thought he was so horribly disfigured. But when he actually took off the mask, the disfigurement was only in his own mind. And that was a very big with Doom as well. The fact that he was supposed to be this massively gorgeous human being, and the accident disfigured him. Now, are they going to do that? Did we see any RDJ in the Fantastic Four movie? No. So how are they going to go about that? How are they going to bring him in? That is a little bit more important, because to me, he was always part of the Fantastic Four, and his origin is directly tied to the Fantastic Four.
Right.
He has to at least be mentioned.
Right.
And if they, 100%. If they don't do with the actual accident and they do it after the accident, he's got to be at least mentioned. Like, we've got to see his name on the flight or something.
Because he was there.
100%. He was there in the spaceship
during So
100%. From but the confirmed news that I do know, it's not gonna be an origin story. Like they're gonna it's gonna be flashbacks of the past. Right. But a majority of that story is not gonna be origin, because like right now in 2024, we already know the backstory because they're such iconic characters. Same thing with Spider-Man, Batman, like all these other, you know, famous superheroes and famous franchises. We don't need to go back into the past. We can revisit it every now and then, like a little highlights, but we don't really need to go into it that much. Yes, I know.
Except when it was done like garbage, and you should just redo it because it was done like garbage. Like, let's be real.
Well, here's something that the MCU does that I think I'm really impressed with, and it hit me, and I was talking to my daughter about it because we were having this similar conversation. And I said to her, I was like, well, they already started setting the kind of stage for the Fantastic Four during Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Right. Now, if you remember when Reed Richards was introduced, right?
Yep.
And he came out of that the Kang inspired, you know, thing to make him pop up. Actually got it from Dr. Doom.
Right.
Let me rewind that. Kang got it from Dr. Anyway. So when he said the name of they said, and this is Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. What did Doctor Strange say? He said,
"We heard you guys back in the 60s."
Yes.
Yeah, heard you guys back in the 60s.
He was already right. Yeah. So they were already setting the stage. I knew back then, after I saw that was going to be the timeline that they were going to use for the movie. I knew it immediately. I was like, oh, I already see what they're doing, because they do that in the movies. They'll say something that might be a little cryptic, might be a little right, but it's all clues and it's all being put together. So I just have this funny idea. We're going to get this whole, with the multiverse thing, this whole either the negative zone or something. They're going to end up at the end of that movie being trapped in the negative zone and end up in the future.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
100%. I totally see Galactus winning. It's definitely gonna, which should happen. It should definitely happen. All right, so for likes, dislikes, and neutrals on this, where are we with this? Me, when it comes down to it, it's a really big step up for them because the setbacks that they had as a company for like the past recent years. I give it a like. What about you, Easy?
No, I'm gonna give it a like because there's one thing that I have discovered, and it's actually something, you know, that everybody knows. Kevin Smith is a very big influence in my life. And after his latest stint at the hospital, he has started to now look at things, and he no longer gives it like the dislike aspect of it. He's not going to be here to talk about the things he doesn't like. He's going to be talking about the positive aspects. And I'm not making the movie, so it's not going to go the way I want it to go. So I have to sit back and enjoy the ride, no matter how the driver is. You know, that being said, I've been taking on some really junky rides lately. You know, but like the professor said before, it's those little Easter eggs that keep me going forward. It's the listening and hearing the X-Men 97 theme at the end of Miss Marvel. You know, it's those type of things that keep me moving forward. It's seeing. Look, I mean, I'm not a spoiler person, but how dope was it? Everyone here has seen the latest movie, correct?
I've seen the latest movie. I don't know if one of our listeners has seen the
latest
movie.
I don't care.
At this stage,
I made a lot of. I give it a 3-day limit. If you don't see it in like the first weekend or by that Monday, it's you know.
Oh, it's open season right now.
Open season, yeah. You took the words right out of my head.
I popped for Blade. Like, I have never popped in a theater before.
I was happy for Blade.
You would have thought, like, I don't know, Batista was making a comeback in the early 2000s.
I was happy for Blade.
You know what I'm saying? I popped like that.
Oh yeah,
when it was Blade, I was like, "Oh, Blade!"
Yep.
You know, and he's looking dope, and he's just being Blade. You know, weird that they didn't have. I was really hoping they were going to have Ryan Reynolds' character from Blade 3 in there as well. I feel like that could have been great. You know, or man, you look familiar. You know, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Right.
But the back and forth was great, though. The back and forth was great, because there was little Easter eggs within each argument with all the cameos, which was what was well represented, which I love.
And it's those Easter eggs that keep you going forward. It's the fact that you saw, the red, white, and blue, and then there's Chris Evans.
Yep.
And,
and
to give you that misdirect right there,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
gorgeous.
It was brilliant.
Oh, so well done.
Oh,
so
yeah.
well done.
Yeah.
And how that entire movie was a love letter to Fox, really.
Yeah.
As much as everything else, it was definitely a love letter to Fox and what Fox has brought to the MCU.
Even the Gambit, right? Even
The Gambit was good.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Gambit was so good. Yeah,
See,
it was good.
I kind of like what they did with they were playing like with the whole Cajun accent, right?
Yeah.
And he did it on purpose. Because remember back in the day when they were talking about the movie, he was like, he said, I plan on doing an actual, Cajun accent or whatever. And they played it full circle. Plus they had a little fun with it, right?
Right.
Which worked out fine. But you got to see him in action.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, it felt like I was watching X-Men 97 because he was amazing.
Yeah, he was really good.
Absolutely amazing. So I was like, they can do that. They can now I can, because I saw him, he was in the official, he was Gambit fully, right? I can see that in the MCU. I can see it in the X-Men now. I can actually see it. The Blade thing, I think, was magnificent. It was brilliant. But here's the problem now. Now that we saw that Wesley can still do it, it's opened up a can of worms because Mahershala Ali is now be like, well, let's cancel his movie and people want the real Daywalker back. I'm on board with that and I agree, but Marvel, they kind of pigeonholed themselves a little bit.
Yeah, they do.
They really did because Wesley was amazing, man. He was good. He was good, right?
He was so good. He was really good.
But
he was good.
Watching him.
But first of all, he's been amazing in everything he's done since getting out of jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
Like he was incredible in the Expendables sequel.
He
He was absolutely incredible in Coming to America 2. Come on. He was amazing in Coming to America 2. That was the main reason I watched Coming to America 2.
That brief TV show that he was on, he was good in that.
Really good.
The B movies he did, he was good in that. So he's undeniable. You can't. So if anybody thought that he possibly couldn't still do it, that showed us Blade is still here. Blade is still here. Oh my God, he was amazing. But
here's the thing, and they were smart about it because he's not in the sacred timeline. Right. He's not in the sacred timeline. So they did cover themselves enough that, especially if they give like an origin story, that they'll be able to get away with it a little bit better, or the deal. He's now a variant of the original Blade. Could we see a variant TV show? Yeah. Can we see a variant movie? I don't think so, because I don't think with everything else they have planned, I just don't think the money's there.
No.
I disagree. I disagree.
I do think if they're smart, let's let Mahershala Ali do right, but do the younger version of Blade. Yep. And then fast forward for towards the third act of the movie, Wesley Snipes taking it from there. That would work for me.
Or have him narrating it as an older man.
Oh, that would be good. That would be really, really good.
You know what I'm saying? He's telling the story. Kind of be like How I Met Your Mother with Bob Saget, but it'd be like how I Met This Mother Sucker.
Yeah, that's funny.
I got you.
That was good.
Thank you.
But I think it could work. And
it could definitely work on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Professor, continue.
Yeah, I definitely think it could work. But again, my concern is now that we saw the Daywalker again and we saw him in all his glory, can they pull it off with Mahershala Ali? Like, fans are already going crazy talking about, oh no. Now that we saw him, there's no reason why. And they're right, because they can't say it's his age, because Robert Downey Jr. is older than him, I think, by a couple of years, right?
No.
He's how old
Wesley Snipes is 62.
Right. So he looks good
60. For 62. He looks amazing for 62.
RDJ just turned 60 then, but I know he's 6. He's around, but they're around the same age, 2 years forward or backward, doesn't matter. But so you have him, and we're not going to talk about Thunderbolt Ross. We can't talk because we knew he was old anyway, so we can't talk about him. And he's just coming in, and he's not really doing much action past the CGI. But
that's what I'm saying, though. They got the CGI aspect of it,
right?
And you can't look. RDJ isn't going to go toe to toe with somebody. No. There's going to be some dude in the freaking Dr. Doom outfit that's doing those type of stunts, or it'll be CGI aspect.
Right.
Look, I'm not saying because look, man, Wesley Snipes can do a whole bunch of things that I can't do. And I'm not saying he can't do that, but Blade is such an action-packed franchise that you can't unless you're having him bring on an underling and him tutor him become the Whistler character. That's where he needs to be is the Whistler character, because he's at that point in time. Just look, we just saw it with Sting in AEW. He had a great send off because they kept his stuff limited. They only did enough stuff to make him look good for a 62-year-old. This man is 62 years old. At the end of the day, no matter how great shape you're in or anything like that.
You're 62 years old.
Yeah, you're 62 years old. Richard Simmons died, and that dude was in such an incredible shape. He was been sweating to the oldies for 75 years.
Yeah.
And he still died. So, at the end of the day,
you got to limit yourself. You really do.
And we can even talk about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. One of the last things to go for, especially from a fighter, is the power. So Wesley Snipes can still hit hard. He's just not as quick as he was. And even though Wesley Snipes losing a step is still faster than a lot of other people, continuing that for an hour and a half to 2 hours of a movie it's going to become unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, I'm with you on that. I'm definitely with. I mean, stunt doubles, but yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to.
Yeah.
But
I comprehend and I understand your guys' point of view, and I really do. My professional opinion, I would continue Mahershala Ali for Blade. I would do it after the two big Avengers films. I would debut it, but I would use Wesley for the whole Battle World and Secret Wars and just have him with those little cameos, get his closure and get his flowers as he deserves. I would do that. And then after everything is completed, because we're going to be all nostalgia out with, Doomsday coming out and Secret Wars coming out, because, everybody knows they're going to use as much as they can with the old characters from back in the day. It's an absolute yes. There's no going around that. They have to. They just have to with those two massive films. I would then, soft reboot Mahershala with this, because one, this is a negative for Mahershala because, everyone's excited to see Wesley Snipes, but it's also a positive because he has more time to work on his own version. He has more time
that's true.
to work on himself. He has more time to make this world the best he can be, and it'll be really beneficial for fans. Like, this will be his grandma's cooking when it comes out, and I think he's going to do a great job and just knock it out the park. Because I know a lot of people are confused because he played a villain in Luke Cage, but he can definitely do the double role because he has a lot of range, and he can definitely knock it out the park with that, and I believe.
Plus, I mean, with all the double roles that have been going through Marvel anyway, let's be real, there's a lot of them. Josh Brolin was,
Cable and Thanos,
Cable and Thanos,
which worked well.
Which one of the first ones that actually the rumor was. Vin Diesel was supposed to be the first person to play two different characters in the Marvel universe.
He's going to play Black Bolt, right?
Black Bolt. He was going to play Black Bolt
because you never heard Black Bolt. He only saw him, so he was going to be Black Bolt for the outside character, and then of course we all know he was Groot. So he was the voice of Groot.
Which was genius in my way.
Yeah.
I think that was genius because I don't like him as an actor. I really don't. But I just think that was genius to not have him talk.
Yeah, just don't talk. Just don't talk.
Wait, he actually acts?
That's what I'm saying.
He hasn't, and some of that stuff. There's one movie where he plays an overweight
the lawyer.
Guy. Yeah,
Yeah, I know you're talking about. That was a good movie. He had a little range with that movie, but
and
when it
really,
yeah,
I'll have to find that
good
movie because
and my other favorite of his is Knockaround Guys.
Knockaround Guys.
That was good. That was
good.
He talks about the 10,000, which is all those who have studied any type of martial art or is an artist knows about the 10,000 hours. We talk about it on this show all the time. It's one of my favorite things to say. 10,000 hours to master something. And he talks, and it was one of the toughest things when he sits there. He's like, so take 10,000 fights for me. So I went on my way. And the biggest lesson I learned was this. And then he just headbutts the dude and drops him. That was one of the coolest moments in cinema for me. That's one of my guilty pleasure moments.
I want to know what was not a guilty pleasure moment. I want to know what was the worst casting you guys ever saw from any property ever. As we segue into this next topic for our Three Nerds Venting segue on the show. Worst. I wish I had license for the Jeopardy music, but I don't.
Well, see, it's funny because the worst casting that I've actually seen, I knew it was a spoof casting, so it really wasn't as bad as it was. Mm-hmm. But Will Ferrell as Sherlock Holmes was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life.
I never saw it.
Oh, dude, don't. Yeah.
Neither have I. That sounds hilarious.
Oh no, it's hilarious, but also like as someone who loves Sherlock Holmes, and I love every iteration of Sherlock Holmes, it was kind of like I did not need Sherlock Holmes with poop and fart jokes. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's like tainting. I love that character, and oh my goodness.
So that's probably, and whatever. Will Ferrell has a problem with it. He can hit up Preston, and Preston can deal with it because I don't care.
For me, I love this dude as a person. I think he's a good actor for what he provides to his audience, but I feel Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze was some of the worst casting I've seen in my childhood memory, because Mr. Freeze is very intelligent and he's a little scrawny, but his intelligence outweighs a lot. His intelligence, in my opinion, just as a comic book reader, matches to Bane because he can outsmart Batman, and his plans most of the time almost work, but then Batman gets the upper advantage. And I feel a man like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's big in general, and just the costume itself didn't match Freeze. Right. So I agree. Mr. Freeze is one of my favorite Batman villains.
Yeah.
So I think that to me was a rush casting and a horrible casting. I mean, you can talk as much stuff as you want with George Clooney and Batman. You can go back and forth on that, but Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I mean, can we get past the fact that Batman had nipples?
I mean, I'm over it. To me, I'm over it. I understand the frustration. I share it with you, but we can't.
Right.
We can't change the past.
Can't change the past. No, but you're dead right, and honestly, that could be said for a lot of things. Like Schwarzenegger in a lot of different movies is a bad casting call. Big dude, huge dude. Huge. And in some of the fish out of water comedies that he was in, amazing. Kindergarten Cop,
I love Twins
because he was so twin. Great, love it. Want to see it every day.
Kindergarten Cop was funny.
Yeah. They have the whole thing about stuff in there that we can't talk about on air. Maybe it's a tumor. It's not a tumor. But yeah, that one was a huge miss. And I remember when they did it, they called it out because they were just throwing money at things just to throw money.
Yeah.
And that's
exactly. This is going to be something what it is. We're just going to throw a ton of money at it for no apparent reason.
He was a super big star at that time too. So it was like, So let's throw him in something else.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
It was horrible. So, Professor,
I think mine is a little controversial.
Okay.
Ooh.
But I will die on this hill. Christian Bale is Batman.
Really?
Wow. Okay.
Now,
Okay.
since you said that, do you think he was a better Bruce Wayne than a Batman?
I thought he was worse as both. He was terrible as both. Now, I saw the direction that they were going with the whole spoiled rich boy, et cetera, right? I saw that, and I understood what they were going with. He just didn't do it for me.
Okay.
Right.
And then the whole Batman thing, right? The whole exchange with Ra's al Ghul, and and now he's his trainer and he's the reason why, right? So that kind of messed up a little bit of the the comic book canon for me. But I accepted it because it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah.
But him as Batman, it just never translated well for me. I didn't like him as Bruce Wayne because, and this is gonna sound crazy, but he wasn't handsome enough. He wasn't smooth enough. He wasn't debonair enough. He wasn't charming enough for me. Like he was just like, oh, I hate that dude. That's how I was when I would see him, right?
But
and as Batman, he was overreaching as Batman.
Okay,
he was overreaching a little bit.
I'm with you on that.
So that was my only thing. I thought the casting around him was brilliant.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox was
spot on.
Genius.
Spot on.
Genius.
Spot on.
It was genius.
Yeah.
And like I said, for me, that was my only problem with it. Was just like a perfect example. Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, perfect.
Right.
Peter Parker, awful.
I agree.
You had Tobey Maguire, amazing as Peter Parker. Spider-Man, he was all right.
Right.
I disagree.
This guy,
I love the as Spider-Man. I love the as Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
He was good. No, he was good, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't feel like Spider-Man. And I know people think I'm crazy, but the Tom Holland Spider-Man is like a complete Spider-Man to me.
Right.
I agree.
For like a lot of elements, right? But like I said, with this whole Christian Bale I just never bought him as Bruce Wayne. And his transition into Batman just became this angry vigilante. Right. And the whole detective piece. Batman is supposed to be the best detective on the planet, right?
That's right.
Aside from Sherlock Holmes, right?
Right.
Boom. Where was that?
Exactly.
Where was that? He was just handing beat down to everybody and yelling, "Oh, where's the money? Where's the?" That's all it was.
Right.
There was no real like menace. Like if you ever watch any of the cartoon Batmans, right?
Yeah.
All he got to do is sit in a room with somebody.
Yeah, and they start sweating.
Yes, and they'll tell you, right? So there is no good cop, bad cop. Like they did this skit in one of the cartoons where Superman was going to try to play bad cop and the criminal laughed him out of the room. And then Batman came in and he ponied up everything. I never felt that menace from the only type of menace I got from Christian Bale was, oh, he's going to beat somebody's butt. That's it.
Yeah, it worked.
That's fair.
There was no, you know what I mean? So that's all. So like I said, it's a controversial thing, but I stand by that. I stand by it.
You make fair points.
You make such a good point that it actually gets me rethinking, because at one point he was actually one of my favorite Batman, but only because of The Dark Knight. And really, if you look at it, he is completely inconsequential to the plot of The Dark Knight. Like he's barely in it. It's not about him at all. It has really nothing to do with him. It's a story and the evolution of the Joker character, really.
Right.
That was done fantastically well. And that, so yeah, I could see that where you're in a Batman movie, you are Batman, but the movie isn't about you. If there can be a Batman movie like that, then maybe you're not a good Batman.
There we go.
So,
like there was no point in any of the movies that I wanted to see Bruce Wayne on screen. I wanted to see Batman do, because I really wanted to see that side. And that's what I honestly thought that I thought that Ben Affleck's Batman, I thought that they were going to explore that with him.
Which I'm disappointed.
I'm really
disappointed in. Ben Affleck did a good job.
He did do a good job.
Did a great job.
So,
but I feel Bruce Wayne is a person you should feel like you want to punch in the face. He's one of those handsome jocks that you do want to just fight because they're obnoxious. That's how I feel about Bruce Wayne. So I felt he did a good job as a Bruce Wayne. The transition to Batman I felt was horrible. I think we can all agree that his casting around him
it was amazing.
Supported the whole movie. And the visual shots with the great director you had definitely supported that movie.
Yeah.
But is he a better Batman than Val Kilmer?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
I like Val. Look, I'll be real with you guys. If we're gonna go down this route, Val Kilmer is my second favorite Batman.
Okay.
Agreed.
So Keaton's number one.
No.
Adam West. Conroy's number one.
Adam West.
Adam West is number one.
Adam.
And it's funny. No, for real. For real.
Yeah. Same.
So Keaton's a good three. Keaton's a good three.
Yeah, Keaton's three.
He's a good three. Yep.
He's a good three. So we got Keaton, Kilmer, and then the great Adam West.
Val Kilmer was a more complete Bruce Wayne too than any of the others besides West but again
Michael Keaton also wasn't handsome enough. Let's be real.
No, right.
He was like if Billy Joel was going to be Batman.
They do look similar. They do like they could be brothers.
Three.
I like that analogy. They do look like they be brothers.
That's what put him as three.
Yeah.
That's what really put him as three. But yeah, realistically, Val Kilmer was amazing as Bruce Wayne. Like I believed his Bruce Wayne. And his Batman, even though again he was tied with what he had with the suit or whatever, but I was down with it. Yeah. I was down with it.
Yeah.
So
and of course Adam West is just untouchable. So
Oh yeah.
Adam West is just untouchable.
Just like people dog out Cesar Romero.
Yeah.
There would be no blueprint for the Joker if it wasn't for Cesar Romero.
Exactly.
It was brilliant as that's the first time I was actually scared of a clown. All right. So Cesar Romero was brilliant as the Joker. So you don't do a Joker unless you're paying homage to the great Cesar Romero. So I'm so glad somebody else agrees with me on that. Adam West, Cesar Romero, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But that Batman was so jokey though, and Adam West. Back in the 60s.
See, here's the thing. It wasn't jokey. It was far-fetched. It was far-fetched. It was exactly like a comic book was. It had how the bands and the zaps in there.
That's what they were trying to do, though. That's what they were aiming for. They wanted to translate the comic book action and the popularity of Batman into that story, into those shows. So they had to do the pow, the bang, the campy fights and all that stuff. But the translation was brilliant. Yeah. And it worked. It made me feel like I was watching a comic book come to life. Because before Batman became so dark with the Tim Burton Batman, that was Batman. Every iteration of him was Batman. The outfit and everything. Because remember, back in the 70s, he was wearing the darker blue. He wasn't wearing the black and the yellow. So and the yellow, right? So they made changes after the Tim Burton thing because they saw how dark, and then the brooding Batman came alive. But Adam West was the blueprint. He was the blueprint, and he was a detective too. They were solving stuff.
They were solving stuff really well. Like they'd sit there with the riddles and they're like, "Oh, it's obviously this," and you're like, "What do you mean obviously?"
That's true. They were detectives. They were detectives. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
My ear, there was nothing obvious about this, sir.
Right. So I'm all on board with absolutely.
All right. I see your point of view on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Next take. What franchises should die and what should come back? I'm gonna go first. Jurassic Park should die.
Okay.
The dinosaurs should be extinct. There's no more that you can do with that franchise.
I'm with you.
Theme parks, yes, are cool. Toys are cool.
Yes.
Maybe a cartoon.
Yes.
But live action movies,
nah.
Let it be extinct. Let it be prehistoric. and let's just tell our grandkids about the great things that we saw.
Okay.
I'm surprised those last 2 movies even came out. That was a big surprise to me.
Money.
Yeah,
and they had to sell the other one with nostalgia with the old actors back, because there's no way you can see it again without those actors, without Goldblum and the rest of the other actors who were back in 1994. But it's just, you cannot recreate that magic, especially without Spielberg. You can't do it.
Yep.
You can't do it. So just get rid of Jurassic Park as a live action entity. You've done what you can with it.
Yes.
Maybe this can be an unpopular take, but I feel done right with the right people and rebooted in a great way, but also do a little origin take as well too. I think Back to the Future will be great for a comeback. Back to the Future will definitely be great. You have enough generational gap that 2 actors are still alive, so they can cameo or give you their creative intake of what to do. They can pick the right actors to, portray it. They can give them good advice, but done right, especially with everything we've seen that changed throughout that 40-year gap, Back to the Future can make a great comeback. So those are my 2 takes of what should die and what should come back.
See, I look at the Back to the Future thing kind of similar to that 90s show. Have you guys seen that 90s show, or at least heard about it?
Yes, I heard about that 90s show, but from my point of view, Rick and Morty, how that's so popular, that was inspired by Back to the Future. You can definitely make it a comeback with that.
Well, the thing is that 90s show, it would be like if Back to the Future was to come out now and they were to go back 30 years, you're talking about them going back to 1994.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like a lot of stuff they can bite off with. 90s was awesome.
A lot of stuff they could do. There's a lot of really interesting places that could go. Plus we are in that re-90s boom right now.
Yeah.
For pop culture.
That's never going to end.
Well, it'll end. It always ends. It always ends. It'll come back around.
We'll revisit it. We'll take a pause from it. Yeah, because the 90s were so great.
The minute we get back into skids, that's when they'll be like, you want to know something? Maybe this fad should die. But that's fine. I'm waiting for slap bracelets.
But Easy, what are yours? Die and should come back.
Franchise that should die and come back. It's the same franchise.
All right.
I feel the Harry Potter franchise should die. Mainly because J.K. Rowling should die. Yeah, you heard me. I said what I said.
Okay.
But they should totally come back, but like written as a pothead's diary.
An adult Harry Potter?
Yeah, like Harry Pothead. Harry Pothead and the Sorcerer's Stone. Harry Pothead in the ordering of the pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like there's money behind there. We should totally do that. We should pitch that to some places. I'm just saying it's real.
All right.
It would work. I ain't gonna lie to you. That
Harry Potter and the half-ounce prince.
I can see that as a cartoon.
What?
Oh,
I can see that as a cartoon. That'll be a funny cartoon.
That's brilliant.
There you go. Donald Glover. I hope you're paying attention. You're watching this show. We need you to make that. Actually, speaking of, have you guys read the Donald Glover series finale of the animated Deadpool?
No.
Oh.
I haven't read about it, but I've seen the leak footage they had with it. Was really good. A lot of leak footage they had with his inspiration of the cartoon. But Professor, I want to know your die and come back.
So my original die was Fast and Furious, but we knew that. Everybody knows that and agrees already. So this one is a little controversial because they're all the rage right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Godzilla and King Kong movies. I've had enough.
Yeah.
I've had enough. Let them go back to Monster Island and live the rest of their lives happy. Be done, please.
That's fair.
Done. And because I'm on the same way the Planet of the Apes. All right, we know. Thank you. We're done.
But those are good though.
I can't.
Those are good.
I can't.
But what they are, they are good. For what they are.
That's the whole thing that bothers me. It's that sentence. For what they are good.
Yeah.
But for what they are was not good.
Exactly. So yeah,
it's like they try. They try. It's not like they give you this a whole bunch of useless CGI and like a lot of useless acting. And
so what you're saying is, the Planet of the Apes is the participation trophy of movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I do.
That's not a compliment, bro. That's not a compliment.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's a dunce cap. Yes. I'm saying that in a good way. It's a dunce cap. I do agree with you. And I stand by my decision. I really do. I stand by this. I highly stand by this. They try. The voice acting is really good, but there's only so far you can go with the apocalyptic apes. I totally agree.
That's what I'm saying. Oh. So my comeback, unfortunately, is not a movie, but I've been wanting this for so long.
Yeah,
and there was a couple of failed attempts at bringing them back, but they got to do it. I would love to see, with the way the technology is now, right? And CGI is all advanced, unless they have DC do it, but we'll talk about that another time. Anyway. Shots fired. Yeah, shots fired. Because I just saw The Flash like last week.
Oh God!
My goodness! I'm sorry.
No, thank you.
No,
thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, thank you. Anyway,
I saw that for free on Max. I'm still mad. I still want the money back.
Oh my goodness. Thundercats.
Oh yeah.
I would love to see a real live action Thundercats. They can pull it off now. They can do it now. And I think that would be, give it a threequel. Do a three. Do three. One and done. Boom. I mean the three and done. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
They can pull it off.
Oh, totally.
There's a lot of great young actors that they can pull in there. There's great storytellers. I'm telling you, get a real good team on this. That could be your next amazing 3 movies in a franchise.
I agree. 100%.
Oh my God.
I stand by that decision. Oh yeah.
Just imagine that.
You don't even have to have young actors.
Michael Bay, back up. That's all I'm saying. Michael Bay,
have to have young
actors. Michael Bay,
great voice actors. Get Keith David in there with it. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. He'd be a great jogger.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that would
you just get stunt people running around.
Yes, it would be absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I've been thinking about that for a while because I didn't like the last 2 cartoon reiterations. They really tried. The one that came out like maybe 10 years ago or more. It was a decent attempt, and I saw where they were going with it, but it still didn't feel like it.
And I see where we're going with this, and I hate to cut you off because it's very disrespectful, but this comes to the end of the broadcast. But I'm going to give you about like a minute to talk your ish because I know you had a lot stirred up. We can get this is pre-recorded, so we can gear up for a part 2 if everybody's ready. I'm down.
All right.
Yeah. But we just but for like broadcast purposes, we gotta cut this off for this therapy
I'll make it real brief. I think that the try was a little too much.
Okay.
Keep it simple. You don't have to do too much.
Right.
And if they had stuck to the basics, followed the original format, I think that it would have been more successful. But when you do too much, you ruin something that is beautiful. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Nice.
Man. Thundercats would be awesome.
Thundercats would be awesome.
If they did He-Man, they can do Thundercats.
Truth.
I never thought of that. I never thought of that. That's great. 3 nerds venting, a little nerd therapy, your bi-weekly nerd therapy here on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Stay connected for that part 2. And myself, Preston, Easy, the professor. I'm gonna call you the professor since we're kind of working out the whole structure of this whole thing. There's gonna be structure with it, well, somewhat.
Sure.
From me, now I know, not from Easy. I don't know.
ADHD.
He's gonna go with the flow. On WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, we appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
write about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount?